Welcome back to the program. Now, Lands and Physical Planning Cabinet Secretary Karoney arguably managed the impossible 2 months ago, launching an online platform dubbed Ardhi Sasa that allows Kenyans to carry out land transactions online in Nairobi County, with a plan to roll out to the rest of the country before 2024. But the Law Society of Kenya, Nairobi branch, is not impressed. They say that their members have been unable to complete any transaction since the system went live 2 months ago. Now, that's the discussion we want to get into, in addition to other land matters, with the Lands and Physical Planning Cabinet Secretary Karoney. CS, welcome to Newsnight.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here, and thank you for hosting me.
Thank you for finding time for us this evening. And I think you were last here about 2 months ago, just
Yes.
one day after the launch of the Ardhi Sasa system.
Yes.
How would you rate or describe the rollout so far?
So far, we are live in Nairobi. You know, Nairobi has 2 registries. We are live in 1 registry. We had hoped to be able to be live in both registries by July, but that isn't going to be possible because of the teething problems we've experienced with rolling out the system. In terms of the system itself, the NLIMS itself, it's a fantastic system, but we are really struggling with the quality of the data. As you know, Wahiga, there is a challenge in our ministry or in our country when it comes to administration of land and management of land, because over the years, almost 60 years, we've sort of messed up our management systems. There's been collusion between government officials, brokers, cartels, and fraudsters, really, who have interfered with the quality of our records. So it's very difficult to clean up these records. And as you know, Wahiga, we said we are launching this system to allow our country to manage land more transparently, with more accountability, and in a manner that guarantees sanctity of title. So the reason why the professionals, especially the lawyers, are upset with us is because we have stood our ground and said, unless we are sure about the integrity of the record, we are not going to put it on the platform. So we have on the platform only records whose integrity as government we can guarantee. Most of it, most of the records, some of it will not be on the platform for different reasons, as I've been explaining. Sectional properties are not on the platform, but there's really nothing wrong with them. They were registered using a legal framework that is not recognized by the platform. They were registered under a law called the Registration of Documents Act. Now, this platform, we built it to recognize the current legal framework. And the current legal framework for registration of sectional units or apartments or maisonets is the Sectional Properties Act of 2020.
And CS, allow me to interrupt you. We are going to get to the Sectional Properties Act section. I think the challenge the Law Society of Kenya Nairobi branch have this evening, according to them, is that no single transaction has been successfully completed in your system for the last 2 months. How do you respond to that?
That's not really accurate, Wahiga. So far, we have received 416 applications for processing on the system. Out of the 416, we have rejected 176 for different reasons. We have 171 transactions which could possibly, 131 transactions which could possibly be processed. 74 of those are undergoing processing. I think about 10 of them have been successful. And this is why it is taking so long. These are the parcels we are calling on-demand ingestion, which means when you applied for registration or for whatever transaction you wanted to perform, those parcels were not on the system. But you came on board and we are helping you to put them on the system so that you can transact. We provided for the on-demand service because of the challenges of data that I have explained, which is sectional properties. Some parcels of land are on public land, others the documentation is not complete, and there are very many parcels, 14,000 of them, with incomplete documentation. So this platform will not take those on board because it is structured to take only a document or a registered document which has complete paperwork. If the paperwork is complete, it will be pending. But when you come on board trying to register, we'll help you to complete them. So the 416 transactions, only 74 of them are now successfully being processed. It took us a bit of time for several reasons. First, we had challenges of integration with our banks, because as you know, you don't move any paper on this platform. You do everything online. So the banking integration is now complete, and customers are now actually paying with our integrated banking system. They are also now paying on M-Pesa. So that took time to crystallize. The other challenge we've had with the LSK itself is one of the things they're complaining about is the fact that we are not upgrading their members to the advocate account.
That's correct.
But we are unable to do that, and there are 160 pending transactions. Why are we unable? Their own system is down. Because, you know, we integrated with different professional bodies in order to pick their registers. So we are unable to pick the register of the LSK because their own database is down and has been down for several weeks. That is the reason why we've been unable to process 160 pending upgrading accounts, but 120 others are already fully registered on the platform.
Okay, and I want to get a bit more specific. I have a document here from the LSK Nairobi branch, which I believe your office received on the 22nd of June.
Yes.
These are some of their complaints, Madam CS, this evening. One, they say inordinate delays in title verification and in searches as well. Talk to me about those two specifically.
Yeah, let me speak about searches first, because that's fairly straightforward. In order to search a property, the complete record of that property has to be on the platform. As at now, you're able to search about 24,000 properties in the Nairobi registry out of a possible about 87,000.
And this is the registry that's live, not the central one?
Yes, this is the registry that is live.
Okay.
So if your parcel is not on the platform, you will be unable to search. And it will not be on the platform for the reasons I have explained. If it's a section of property registered under RDA, it will not be there. If it's a title on public land, it will not be there. If it's what we are calling airborne titles, there are some airborne titles, which means that person has a title but they don't have land. And there are about 4,000 of them. Those ones are not on the platform. If your title is a property that should be public land, it will not be there. If your property is an ongoing transaction, meaning you have not reached the stage of registration, you're still processing through the system, it will not be on the platform. So for all these reasons, we have to verify. And why are we very keen with verifications, Wahiga? We are coming from a history where land data was really not clean data, was data that is suspect in quality sometimes, and sometimes it was data that was fraudulently, or titles that were fraudulently acquired. So the reason why we have to verify is to be able to say as government, your title document, the one on the platform, is a title that government can guarantee. If we are not sure as government whether you acquire that title properly, legally, and following due process, it won't be there, Wahiga. And as we are saying, our country has come from a very, very bad history in terms of land management. We want to correct these mistakes. It's a process that is going to take time, Wahiga. We've created this mess over 60 years. We can't correct it in 2 months. It will take, we the government and our landowners, our investors, our partners, our professionals to work with government in order to restore the integrity and sanctity of this record.
And we're actually glad that you've taken time to come and explain some of these issues, some of them coming up as we posted the announcement about this interview. But let me give you the big picture, CS, here of the reality this evening. Tonight we are told that advocates who do a lot of conveyancing, their work is at a standstill in regards to Nairobi County. We are also told, again, facts I may not have been able to fully verify, that banks are holding on to billions of shillings of loans because the titles needed to get those loans are not available. They are in the system somewhere. The properties cannot be charged. We're in the middle of a pandemic. Kenyans are hard-pressed for money. Nairobians are hard-pressed for money. Does this information give you sleepless nights, that your system could hold the key to it, but at the moment it doesn't seem to be giving those results?
Wahiga, we are alive to the fact that property is one of the assets that Kenyan citizens use to develop themselves and to prosper economically. We are alive to that fact. However, to claim that things are at standstill is not true. We launched this system on the 27th of April. The Central Registry, since that day, has processed 5,821 applications. About 4,000 of them have been successfully processed and collected by the owners or by the advocates. Another 1,400 thereabouts has been processed pending collection in our registries. Only, that is the Central Registry, the registry that is still manual. So how many? About 5,000 to 6,000 documents from the 27th of April when we launched. It means these are almost 6,000 customers we've processed. 4,000 of them, the owners have collected those documents. Another 1,400 are pending. They've been processed. Then there's another about 2,000 still pending registration or different processes in our registries. Of these 2,000, about 1,200 are subdivisions. The process is complete. The title is awaiting printing.
How do you compare those numbers with what's outstanding? Those sound like good figures, but some would ask if it's a drop in the ocean.
I've actually just given you what these advocates are claiming is outstanding. They are not. Between 27th and today, which is the 29th of June 2021, we've received almost 6,000 applications for various transactions under the central registry. We've processed all of those. 4,000 have been collected by the owners. Another 1,400 are ready in our registry awaiting collection. Only 2,000 are pending, and of those 2,000, these are subdivisions. About 1,200 are awaiting titling, and we are going to print the titles in the course of the week. So I don't understand by standstill. What does that mean? Because all the applications they are brought in have been processed. This is now the registry that is manual. In the registry that is live digitally, as I told you, we've received only 416 applications.
That's correct.
But what we decided as government, the applications that had come in before the 27th of April, or applications where the customer had paid, maybe stamp duty or whichever government fee, in that registry there were about 1,500. And we have processed all of them. Only 333 are awaiting titling. So of all the 1,500 applications we received in the Nairobi registry, all have been processed. Only 333 are pending. And they are pending because they are awaiting printing of the title deeds. So what is this about standstill? Let
me ask you this on the back of that, and I do need to take a break, but I need to squeeze this one in as well. Could there have been a backup plan, a manual plan, just in case there are any challenges, even a hybrid plan for that? Is that something that your ministry considered, CS?
Wahiga, this is the 21st century. Technology is driving global economies. Many government services are now digital. Why do you want the Ministry of Lands to be left behind? It is one of the most important dockets of government. Why should we be left behind? And we've been attempting to digitize for 26 years, Wahiga. And the reason why we did not succeed is exactly what you're saying, the temptation to go back. Change is difficult, I agree. It's painful, it's laborious. But are you going to give up because it is difficult? Are you going to throw away a good product because we are facing challenges? Don't we all face challenges with technology? Your autocue can go off right now, Wahiga. Will you stop reading the news? Chances are no.
But I have my papers.
You will go on. So the point I'm making is this, Wahiga. The reason why we didn't go live with both registries, we left the central registry pending. We decided to take on board the Nairobi registry alone. It is a smaller registry compared to Nairobi registry in terms of the number of documents we have in there, because we wanted to test the system, test how it would be to deploy, look at the gaps and fill the gaps before we deploy to the central registry. And as I said, we were meant to have gone live with this other registry in the month of June, July, but we haven't, because we are having teething problems and we are fixing them. At the moment, we've been struggling with the quality of data. It will take those lawyers, Kenyan landowners, investors, and other stakeholders working with government to clean up these data sets. And by the way, when I had an interview with another media house last week, there were 28,000 documents or records that were incomplete. Now there are 14,000 because we continue to work to clean this record. And we have to be patient. This change is going to be a very, very difficult change program, but it's good for our country. This country needs this reform more than we need probably even oxygen.
It sounds like you're saying no turning back.
Believe me. We have been at it for 26 years. And this is the one time we have said whatever it takes, however painful it will be, we will work together with our stakeholders to move the process forward until successful deployment.
We'll get a bit deeper into those pain points after this break, Madam CS. Don't go anywhere. We've got more questions for you. Remember, in addition to the digitalization of our records, she's also in charge of other factors, national titling, for example, land policy as well. We'll be talking about all that, and I am seeing your questions. I'll post some of them to her when we come back. 2242 is the SMS line. The hashtag is Newsnight. You're watching Newsnight. Stay with us. We'll be right back.